Hey guys, welcome to Unlocked Church. My name is Lily. I'm so glad you're here with us online today. For those of you who came from our One Wheel Pig video, we're glad you made it. If you have no idea what I'm talking about, you probably just stumbled across this video, and that's okay. Stick around. We have a lot of fun things planned for you. But on the topic of One Wheel Pig, this is a really fun game. However, everyone has their own opinions about if a trick passes or not. Do you think, right in the chat room, do you think Kristen's attempt was valid? Her boosted board was not on to begin with, but if it's up to me, I'm gonna say it's valid. I'm gonna say she got it. All right, guys, we have a fun morning planned for you, and I know life has been crazy right now, so I just wanna dive in a little bit and give you some good news. If you didn't know, Unlocked Church resides in Minnesota, and we are fans of the Minnesota Vikings. At least most of us are. You know, you have the occasional Green Bay Packer fan, but that's fine. We won't talk about them. Fun headline that just popped up. I have it here on my phone. Are you ready for this? Report emerges of potential, keyword, OBJ trade to the Vikings. OBJ, Odell Beckham Jr. He is a phenomenal wide receiver. I will be super excited if he trades to, from the Browns to the Vikings, because he would be a great asset for us Vikings. If you have a comment about that, comment in the chat room. I'd love to hear from you. Okay, guys, we are gonna send it over to Scott. He is starting a talking series all about being warriors. All right, let's get this thing started.
What's happening, everybody? Welcome to Unlocked Church this morning. This is Unlocked Church's YouTube channel. This is where we have an amazing team of people that work together to meet needs in the community, that serves one another, that loves one another. So glad to be hanging out with you today. I hope you made a jump from the One Wheel video. Yes, Lily will let the people in the chat room decide who gets to create the next trick or who has to land the next trick. I can't wait to see the verdict. Thank you so much for being here this morning. And maybe you're sitting here going, okay, Scott, and you're from Unlocked Church, and you're going, why do we keep doing these One Wheel videos and then hopping over here? We're trying to create the lobby experience. Remember back in the day when we used to show up at a physical building and you would come into the lobby and get coffee and we'd ask how your week's going, what's life like, and all those things? Well, we're trying to create a lobby experience over on YouTube, on a channel that is known to entertain and talk about One Wheels. We love to be in the chat room with you and be able to see how things are going. And then we move from the lobby to the main auditorium where the teaching is done and the announcements are done. So view this as the main auditorium. Our heart also with the One Wheel videos is twofold. Is that hopefully you have your kids watching that and you get to sit down at 10 o'clock on Sunday and gather together as a family and laugh a little bit, poke a little fun maybe at Joey, Lily, Kristen, and I, and maybe you then would venture into the main auditorium and listen to this. Maybe we are grabbing some first-time guests from our One Wheel videos. They're like, oh, I'd love to hear about how to be happy, and that's exactly what we're going to talk about. And maybe you've jumped over here and you're a first-time guest today, and we want to welcome you to Unlocked Church digital space. We're so glad that you're here today. If you're a regular, man, I hope you're in that chat room talking away to everybody. We're so excited to have all of you here today. And our heart is, and it will always be as Unlocked Church, is to reach out and go. What's the last thing Jesus said after he died and rose again? He turns around to his crew and says, all right, I want you to go and reach the world, the nations. And we're trying every Sunday to still go, even in a digital capacity. And it's not as easy as one would think, because it's like, how do we do this? How do we make it engaging and something that the family wants to sit around? So I hope you hear our heart on that. We are really trying to still go, but we're also trying to provide opportunities for those that are a part of Unlocked Church to grow, to understand the Bible more. We've got digital small groups that are happening every week. If you're not in one of those, we miss you. Would you take some time this week and find one that works for your schedule and jump in to say hi to other people? It'll be great for you, but it also will be great for those that have been asking about where are you? Will you make the effort this week to jump into a digital small group? It's a small group where we're checking in on each other, praying for each other, and then we're doing a Bible study. If you want to take this time and become better, knowledgeable on Jesus things, great opportunities on our digital small groups. Today we are kicking off a brand new talking series, which is warriors, the way of the warrior. But the whole idea is we're looking at what is it that we should be fighting for in today's culture. Should we be fighting for what the world is saying we should be fighting for? Are there other things we should be fighting for? And the thing I've learned about warriors is that the violence that they're known for, being a warrior, was the last resort. It wasn't the first act, it was the last thing. A true warrior of ancient days were always serving for peace first. They wanted to resolve matters peacefully. And then only after peace didn't happen and a lot of other things, then did they decide to pick up the sword and swing it. That was never the first action. Actually, as I've done studying on many warriors of the old days, they were always in a pursuit of happiness, not of anger or rage. And today, the very first thing we're going to talk about in being a warrior in this day and age is about being happy. And so we're going to jump into Jesus' first teaching, his first out loud teaching. We're going to jump into that day because Jesus, his first few words to a crowd of thousands was all about being happy. If you have a version of the good news where you think that following Jesus should not be a pursuit of happiness, you've got the wrong version. It's not the good news. The good news, Jesus comes along and says, hold on. Happy are these people. And so we're going to see what Jesus says are the qualifications of happy people. He actually steps in and he kind of blows up some misconceptions about happy people. You can find this if you got your Bible around, if you got an app, you can go to Matthew chapter 5, verse 1 through 12 is where we're going to be. We'll put it on the screens here for you to follow along as well. But this is famously known as the Sermon on the Mount. Jesus sees a large amount of people, probably fishermen coming in and traders coming in, because I think it's the Sea of Galilee that's just right around the corner here. And Jesus begins to teach to the large crowd. How do we know this? Because we have an eyewitness account named Matthew who was there, recorded it down, and then we get to read it and put ourselves into it. So as you're listening to what Jesus says here, would you just picture the side of a hill and thousands of people standing there, and the historians think they have found the location where Jesus taught, and he's standing on the side of the hill and he's talking normal, and the way the hill is facing the lake, his voice would travel. He didn't need a PA system, and that's how he has the ability to speak to thousands of people about how to be happy. So Matthew chapter 5, verse 1. Then Jesus saw the crowds. He went up on a mountainside, sat down. His disciples came to him and they began to teach them. And here's what Jesus said first. Blessed are the poor in spirit, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. Blessed means happy. Okay, as we're going to go through this, a lot of people have heard these as the Beatitudes. Blessed, when you go back to the original context, means happy. So happy are the poor in spirit, which would be a shocking statement to a crowd that is all about stuff. They want things, they want money, just pretty similar to today's culture. We want more things. The more things we have, we think that's the pursuit of happiness. The more we get, the happier we are. But you know what? I've said a saying a lot that goes something like this, that happiness always involves a who or two, not a thing or two. I'll say that again. Happiness always involves a who or two, not a thing or two. Ultimate happiness has nothing to do with things. I mean, let's just take inventory of what we've lost of things over the last few weeks. We've lost the ability to gather with people, being around people we love. We've lost the ability, some of us, of going to work. And the list goes on. And yes, it affects our emotions. Yes, it does pay its price on ourselves. But you begin to, and I begin to find out really fast, what is our happiness built on? Where is our happiness coming from? Is it things or is it who? And ultimately, the who is Jesus, first and foremost, is where we should be getting our happiness. And so what does it mean, blessed are happy those that are poor in spirit? Poor in spirit means they're dependent on God, the daily dependence on God. I position myself to know that God needs to be alive and relevant in my life daily. That's the poor in spirit, which shatters an idea that happy people are rich people or rich people are happy. You could probably hear the crowd go, oh, what did he say? Murmuring. What? He just said happy people are poor people? That is not true. It's those that have money, those that are famous, those that have big houses and lots of cars. Those are those who are happy. And Jesus comes and says, no. It's those that daily depend on God. For they will be happy. And he goes, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven, meaning the things that heaven has to offer are for those that depend on God daily. Those that find themselves moving from position, I got it, I'll take care of it myself, and moving into an area of, okay, I got to daily depend on God. So then Jesus goes on and he says in verse 4, blessed are those who mourn, for they will be comforted. Remember, it's happy are those who mourn, for they will be comforted. It's simply this. Those that stay in the moment when they are mourning will be comforted. First, God is the great comforter. It is written throughout the Bible. Authors of the Bible talk about God's characteristic is being a comforter. So he first and foremost comforts us. But when we stay in the moment and when people say, how are you doing? And we say, you know what, I'm really sad I've lost my job, or I lost my mom and dad, or I've lost this, or whatever that is creating mourning in you, to share it with people that are appropriate to share with, they come along and they comfort you, and then all of a sudden you are rewarded with, I didn't know that person cared that much for me. I didn't know that person loved me that way. And then it comforts us. But when we choose to take the road that most people take in Western culture is when we're mourning and somebody asks us how we're doing, great, everything's okay, doing great. We don't actually admit that we're hurting on the inside, and we miss out on a key piece of happiness. Even when you are faced with sad situations, when we raise the flag saying, I am mourning right now, you will experience a happiness that you can't experience anywhere else but inside that moment. Verse 5, Jesus goes on, blessed are those that are meek, for they will inherit the earth. Blessed, happy. Happy are those that are meek. They will inherit the earth. The term meek we don't use in our culture very often, but meek is a way of saying that I'm part of the story, I'm not the story. I'm part of the big story. I'm not the main character of the story. The meek person recognizes Jesus is the main character to the story, and we are supporting cast. I looked up the definition. Meekness is a proper estimation of value of oneself within the broader context of God's creation and love. I'll read that one more time because that's so wordy, but it's so good. Meekness is a proper estimation or value of oneself with the broader context of God's creation and love. A meek person evaluates oneself as they really are, that they are God's creation and a part of the big plan. They know they are a part, but they are not the center of the plan. Ooh. Those are all so good, and it's a gut check for me to go, okay, I got to get myself where I'm the supporting cast, that I'm not in the driver's seat, that I'm probably in the back seat being drove somewhere, and I've got to be okay with circumstances in my life, because that's where I will find happiness. Happy are those that hunger and thirst for righteousness, for they will be filled. It makes more sense when I say it like this, doesn't it? Happy are those with no guilt, no regret, and a clear conscience. Happy are those that do the right thing even if it costs them something. We don't regret doing the right thing. It's the wrong things that stop us from being happy. Happy are those that hunger and thirst for righteousness, those that want to do the right thing, those that are always pursuing the right thing. Happy are those people. And it seems like, especially if you're trying to do the right thing and you see somebody that's doing bad things yet seem to be getting tons of money and live in a big house, but remember, happiness is not a thing or two, it's a who. And we keep getting ourselves caught into that Western culture thing of, well, but look at them over there, and we compare ourselves, and all of a sudden we find ourselves not happy anymore. When we need to be doing this, we need to be we need to be driving towards God's kingdom and godly things and pursuing those things and not stuff. And I like stuff. This isn't a thing about, hey, don't get a bow or whatever your thing is, or a one wheel. No, that's not what we're talking about. It's just when that's the priority, it will rob you of your happiness. Happy are those with no guilt, no regret, and a clear conscience. Oh, to be able to just experience that, it is priceless. Jesus goes on to say to the crowd of 1,000 in the Sermon on the Mount, blessed are the merciful, for they will be shown mercy. Blessed are the merciful, for they will be shown mercy. Happy are those that inside relationships are generous with what does love require me to do. Happy are those who are not seeking revenge, who aren't bitter, who forgive, who don't hold grudges, those who aren't waiting to pay back for someone in their past. Happy are those. Happy are those that are generous inside relationships, for they will be shown mercy. Jesus later on, I think he comes back and puts an exclamation point to this. He goes, you reap what you sow. So if you inside relationships are merciful, you will experience that at times. Now, sometimes if you're like me, but wait, I'm trying to always be wise and kind inside relationships. Why do I get treated poorly? Because there are people in the world that are not trying to pursue Jesus' qualities. And so therefore we get caught in the collateral damage of those things. Let me ask this question to you one more time. Do you want to see clearly what doors to go through, want to know what relationships to pursue and not to? Then this is great. This is what Jesus says. He goes, blessed are the poor in heart, for they will see God. Happy are those that are poor in heart, for they will see God. They will find God. You don't have to experience all things to see clearly to avoid some experiences. You can see God and he can lead you away from the pure in heart is to try to constantly do what Jesus is asking me to do, to avoid unwise decisions. We often say it around here, like we have a question. I like always questions, right? Because it allows us to frame our life and our decisions. This is the question: what is the wise thing to do in light of my past experiences, my present circumstances, and my future hopes and dreams? What is the wise thing to do? And it's going to be different for every last one of us because your past is different than mine. Your present day circumstances are different, and your future hopes and dreams are different than mine. But when we ask those questions, that is us being the pursuit, pure in heart. We're pure in heart because we are looking for godly wisdom. We're looking for the direction God is leading us. Jesus goes on and says, happy are the peacemakers, for they will be called children of God. Do you know any troublemakers that are happy? Seriously, do you? Are they not miserable? Are they not bitter and angry at things? Do they not stir up more drama? Do they not, as they hurt, want to hurt other people? No, I've never met a troublemaker that is happy, that smiles. They're troublemakers. They're miserable. And here is Jesus come and say, happy are the peacemakers, for they will be called children of God. Meaning when we search out and pursue peace over than getting revenge or talking bad about someone or gossiping about somebody, when we pursue being the peacemaker where it stops with me, I'm not going to spread drama. I'm not going to be drama queen. It stops here. I'm pursuing peace. I'm doing the right thing. That's where people will know you are a follower of Jesus, that you're not spreading rumors, but that you bring it back to God and people go, there's something different about that person. They don't stir it up. Happy are the reconcilers, those that fix things. Oh man, happy are the reconcilers. Can I say that again? Jesus goes in and says, happy are those who are persecuted because of righteousness, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. I wrote it this way. In life, we are going to be persecuted on either side of this for doing the right thing or doing the wrong thing. But only one side of this is where you can be pleased with yourself. Life is difficult for everyone. We all face obstacles, suffer setbacks, and miss opportunities. Wise people don't find happiness in their circumstances. Wise people recognize their dependence on God and find happiness in that dependence. Happiness is a result in an outcome. It's from many opportunities of sowing, then you reap it. It is not something that is just given to you. It is a result and an outcome. You sow and you reap your way to happiness is what I'm trying to say. That's the Sermon on the Mount. That's the beginning of the Sermon on the Mount. That's just the tip of the iceberg of happiness. And right there, I think we have enough to go from here and have so much stuff to work on this week. I'm just simply giving you exactly what Jesus has to say. A man wiser than me, better than me, that knows what love requires far better than me. And I'm just simply trying to pursue and be like. And I want to invite you in to ask yourself, what is Jesus saying to you on all of these things? Because This is an all play, all skate for everybody all the time. I'm reading this, even today, I'm going, oh yeah, I need to work on that one. I got to pursue that more. So what is it that you're going to walk out of here today and pursue? Would you just take a moment and write it down, if you could be so bold, and write it in the chat room? Hey, this week I'm going to work on being a peacemaker. This week I'm going to work on my pursuit of righteousness. This week I'm going to work on pure heart. Whatever it is for you, just write down what you're going to work on. And maybe you're familiar with the Sermon on the Mount, but it's a really lengthy part of Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. Those are the authors of their very own Bible or books of the Bible. And they all end the Sermon on the Mount the same way. They all record Jesus giving this parable. And we're only going to talk about the first part of it. But if you want to read the whole thing, it's Matthew chapter 7, verse 24. Jesus begins to say this. Therefore, anyone who hears these words of mine, so he's wrapping up his teaching, and he says this, therefore, any one of you who hears these words of mine and puts them into practice is like a wise man who built his house on a rock. He's reminding us that happiness, it takes time to build a home, and it takes time to build on happiness. This isn't this week you go do all of these so well and all of a sudden instantaneously you're going to be happy. No, it's repeating the process every day. It's repeating it. It's not stopping. I hope in the pursuit of what should we be fighting for and what should we be as a warrior in this time period, this is the first thing we need to be fighting for is happiness. But godly happiness, not Western culture happiness. It's not about things. Can I go back to it? True happiness is not about a thing or two. It's about a who or two. So who in your life can you turn around and go, I'm happy you're in my life? Can we pray really quick? Jesus, I thank you for everybody that's logged in. Those that are our first-time guests today, I ask that you're speaking through the screen and into their hearts, that you're penetrating their hearts, that those that have lost their jobs, that they're encouraged by this because they're moving their hope into you. Those that need to be comforted, that you would comfort right now. Those that need to start pursuing you more this week, that they would pursue more and jump into digital small groups so that they would take steps to pursuing you more. Whatever those action pieces are for us, may we do them today. God, we ask that you give godly wisdom to our governor here in Minnesota, in the government as a whole, that they would make wise decisions for people and not politically wise decisions. I ask that you would prevent people from continuing to get sick, that there would be a cure soon for this, that as we go back into the world, that you would allow us as followers of Jesus to be a light in the darkness where we spread hope. Jesus, we love you in your name. Amen. Guys, thank you so much for logging on. We have a few more things. Next week, we're going to continue our talking points on the way of the warrior in 2020. What's it look like to be a warrior today, and what should we be fighting for? Should we be out there picketing, or should we be doing something else? That's what we're talking about next week. We're not over yet. We have Kristen and Joey that want to share it a little bit as well, so they recorded a video. I think we're going to throw it to Kristen first, and then Joey, and then I will wrap us all up. But thank you so much for hanging with us. Stay tuned for what Kristen has to say right here.
Hello, Unlocked Church family, and those of you watching online. It's Kristen, and I just wanted to hop on here to say hi to everybody and talk to you guys a little bit about giving and generosity. I want to give a huge thank you to those of you continuing to give and allowing Unlocked Church to continue seeing needs and meeting needs all throughout our community. And we've been able to pay for people's rent, pay for families' groceries, and donate over 30 dozen eggs all over our community. So thank you so much. Those are just a few of the things we've been up to because of you. And I want to give a personal thank you because I have had a prayer answered through Unlocked Church, and it has been a pretty cool journey for me to see Jesus's faithfulness, especially during this time, and given me a little bit of hope. So it wouldn't have been possible without you guys continuing to give. So thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. And I just wanted to be a little bit of a reminder that we are sometimes each other's answer to prayer. So continue to give with the spirit of generosity as Jesus asked us to do, whether it's your time, your resources, your money, your skills, whatever it is, give in a spirit of generosity. And to give you guys the opportunity to be obedient at what Jesus calls us to do, we wanted to give you 2 simple ways to give. And the 2 ways you can do that is to text UNLOCK to 77977 or visit us at unlockchurch.com and you can give there. So those are 2 simple ways. And I wanted to again say a huge thank you to everybody. And it just seems like thank you's not enough, but that's really all I have. So thank you so much. And now I'm gonna give it over to Joey with some upcoming events.
Hey guys, hope you're enjoying the service so far. My name is Joey Sonnenfeld and I'm here to talk about upcoming events. And obviously, we don't have any upcoming events that we're gonna be together, but there are upcoming events virtually online, and we have been busy and things have been going so great during the week. If you have not been in one of our small groups, I highly recommend that you join. You can get the information on the Unlock Church website, but you get the GoToMeeting app and you can join that way. Usually the schedule will be up on the Unlock Church website. Lily's doing an amazing job with the kids, and then the students, the middle school and high school students, are meeting with Michaela and I as well. And so if you have a kid or a student, encourage them to join in the small groups. We're having a blast. And then adults, please join as well. Trust me, it is a blast, and we're learning and we're praying for each other during this time. And so I highly recommend that you join that. And then we do have worship sessions during the week as well on Instagram. So that schedule will be on the Unlock Church website as well. But Kristen and Brian are doing an amazing job with that. And so I highly recommend, if you need a break during your day, to go on there and listen to some worship music.
Thank you, Joey and Kristen. Thank you, Lily, for the welcome. Everybody have a fabulous week. We absolutely love you here at Unlock Church, and I can't wait to see you in our digital small groups and all of those great things. Remember, what is Jesus saying to you, and what are you going to do about it? It's not just about recognizing what he said to you. It's recognizing he said something to you and then doing something about it. Guys, we absolutely love you. If you're brand new around here, subscribe to the channel. Give us thumbs up. Leave a comment down below as well, because people coming in throughout the week, they don't get to see the live chat. They only see the comments down below. You guys are awesome. We'll see you throughout the week in our worship, digital small groups, and back here next week. As long as there's no technology problems, right? That's it. See you guys. Happy Sunday.